Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on this Manic Monday. As we get ready to kick things off, we're going to talk about Bama's spring practice starting today. Football finally is picking back up after a couple months hiatus, as well as Bama's choke job in the final minute versus Tennessee this weekend. Can Bama bounce back as they have now lost, 3 out of 4 games? 3 out of 4 down the stretch. We'll also look at Paul W. Bryant and Paul W. Bryant boys basketball team and Hillcrest Patriots girls basketball team taking on state championship games this weekend, and much, much more.
All right. Good morning. It is a Manic Monday, and we're glad that you got up and had them with us. It is powered by Box Eye Care. Box Eye Care, man, they keep us on the airwaves. We appreciate them, and we appreciate you supporting them. Thank you for your support there. We'll tell you more about them as we move throughout the program. We do have a great show lined up for you. We want to let you know that the Empowerment Strategy and Solutions Hotline is open for business. So let us hear from you, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. It was truly a rough weekend, and we're already getting some comments over on the live stream, and you can follow us on the live stream chat at facebook.com/The Martin Houston Show. Let us hear from you there. 205-342-9904. That is the Empowerment Strategy and Solutions Hotline. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Before we get into the Alabama basketball, Alabama spring game, any combine talk or any of that, Alabama did, it's worth a little talk of T-Town. We won't do that every day, but when we do have news that we can highlight really quick, we'll do that. Kudos to the Hillcrest girls for making it to the state championship game and having a valiant fight against the five-time 7A champion Hoover Bucks. They were just too much, man. They were just too much for them. And unfortunately for the rest of 7A, they're not going anywhere. They have an 8th grader that's leading them at point, and she's like one of the tallest girls on the team. It was amazing to watch that young lady play. Winston, I think, is her last name. But anyway, kudos to them. And then, of course, Bryant taking down bringing home the state championship. In 6A, those boys can flat out score. So kudos to them. If you want to find out more about that story, Wyatt Fulton has a story up on Tide109.com. So go check it out there. But kudos. I mean, that's still great to have in 6A and 7A. And then, of course, 2A TA came up short. And I mean, TA has been magnificent in their – I mean, they've only been in AHSAA for a couple of years, and they've already managed to play for state titles in 2 sports. I know at least football and basketball. So came up short both of those this year, but they got there, and that's to be commended as we do a little Talk of T-Town. And this is both spring football and Talk of T-Town. Alabama, Wyatt adding a young man, former player from Hillcrest and Bryantville. Hillcrest is coming back to play for the Tide, joining the team. Now, Wyatt, I noticed you wrote a story on that on Tide109.com. Wyatt, was he already planning to be back? Was he already in school? How is it that this young man, we're now hearing that he's going to be part of spring? He's not just joining the team. He's actually going to participate, right?
Yeah, he's going to participate. I think what it was is he entered the winter transfer portal window, didn't really have anything, and then Alabama must have scouted him and said, hey, we like what you can bring to the table. We need bodies along that offensive line right now, so come on down to Tuscaloosa. He's a good kid. I mean, he went to, he's a local kid, so that's something that can work out there. He had 2 Power 5 offers coming out of high school, Mississippi State and West Virginia. He went to state, transferred to South Alabama in 2024, didn't play a snap for South Alabama, so he's got a lot of practice reps, but not a lot of reps in general.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, how is it that was he already in school here and he just went ahead and enrolled in school? Because you know what I mean? Like, he was in the portal, but now he's here. I don't even know how school works anymore, Wyatt. Maybe
we always say, they have 2 titles. They're student athletes. I think at this point you can kind of flip that around. They're now athletic students.
Yeah. So X, you understand what we're saying? He's 6'5".
Yeah, you're talking about Jaden Hodgson.
Yeah. And I'm happy for
it. I've been trying to dig into this and figure it out, but I haven't seen the first thing that I saw about him was the article that we have, and then him being listed as one of the New Jersey numbers. Yeah. Like nothing else.
Yeah. And so that to me, that's that's the point. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, was he already in school? But with the fact that supposedly one of Deion's boys was in online school at Jackson State. I mean, Jackson. At his former school, but was playing at Colorado. So maybe he was just an online. I don't know. I have no idea, Wyatt, to your point, what it means anymore. But I'm happy for him, extremely happy that a local kid gets an opportunity to wear that crimson jersey. And who knows? Once again, remember what we talked about on Friday, X and Wyatt, is what? He looks for athletic guys, 6'5", 295. Who knows? This kid could come in and be one of those players that may not fit at a Mississippi State but come in here and get into the Alabama's weight program and all that, and a year, 2 years from now, end up being a guy that can contribute.
But it's interesting, about him specifically, because he was an offensive lineman in high school. He was an offensive lineman in Mississippi State and at South Alabama. but he's wearing number 48. When there are plenty of numbers between 50 and 79 that are available.
Can he wear 48 on the offensive line? I don't think he can.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So,
like,
I don't know what he'll play. Who knows? And maybe it doesn't matter.
It's interesting.
I don't know.
Sure.
Huh?
I saw someone where he might be playing tight end. So I don't know.
Well, they took away the jersey number restrictions because Derek Meadows is wearing 30. Like that's not normal.
No. As a wide receiver, you can wear any number that's an eligible number. Offensive linemen are still restricted to the 50 through 79.
I think, right? They're like
I believe so. But so does he just come in and report eligible every single play, or is he going to be kind of that like Kendall Randolph quasi tight end, quasi offensive lineman?
That's what
exactly, and that's what I think we're looking at, the Kendall Randolph role.
That inline tight end guy. Who knows? But it does bring it's exciting. Like I said, I'm happy for him. I just have no idea how do you get eligible for football anymore or any sport. I don't know if he just transferred in, if he's always been in Tuscaloosa. Hey, if there's anybody out there that knows what's going on with this young man that's part of the Tuscaloosa T-Town community, kudos to him from the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Yeah. We're happy for him. We're thrilled for him. I love Wyatt and Xavier, young men from Tuscaloosa and from the state of Alabama, getting a chance to wear that crimson jersey, because I know what it meant to me growing up here. Even though I grew up an Auburn fan, I knew the importance of the Alabama crimson, tide. And then when I came here, I wore that with pride. I look at Rashad Johnson and how he, from Sulligent, walk on. And you can go back through the years and see where local kids, Alabama kids, get to wear it. And it just means, like the SEC says,
a little bit more.
It means more. And I think that's why this is a totally different sidebar. I think that the only reason that Iron Bowl has been close through the years is because they had a lot more kids who grew up in the state of Alabama, wanting to play in this Iron Bowl, understanding the importance of it. And it just meant more. The Iron Bowl meant more to Auburn than it did Alabama. It just has. And Alabama fans can hate me for it or whatever. But I think that that's been kind of Auburn's secret sauce to be relevant, because there's been zero reason in the last 17 years, with a few exceptions, that game should have even been closed based on paper.
But I do think, like you said, getting the in-state kids and the local kids to come in. I mean, you look at the kids, just 3 names from the state of Alabama right now that participated in last year's Iron Bowl. Ryan Williams, who was an Auburn legacy kid and was debating about committing to Auburn before he committed to Alabama. Jalen Mbakwe from just down the road in Birmingham. He knows what this rivalry means. And then a kid like Malachi Moore, who's been a part of that rivalry for the last 5 years. They understand what that means. And so that's why you saw Ryan Williams just put out a little more effort in the Iron Bowl, maybe subconsciously, but he had just a little bit more effort in that Iron Bowl. It's why you saw Malachi Moore trying to take out every Auburn receiver that was coming over the middle in this past Iron Bowl.
Right. Hey, it means more, I think. So, X.
Yeah, hey, we're going to go ahead and get the break. When we come back on the other side, we have Kennington Smith III joining us. We'll try to get to the phone lines as well as we continue the conversation, and we jump into the choke job this weekend between Alabama and Tennessee. We'll be back on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good morning to you. We're getting off to a bit of a, well, not so busy start, but we do have a situation involving some fog in the area, specifically on McFarland Boulevard, both east and westbound, right around Jack Warner Parkway. And so that will create some low visibility. Watch out for that. And then we've also got a little bit of a delay on Skyland Boulevard on the eastbound lanes, right around Hargrove Road. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell.
Townsend Nissan has new 2025 Sentras for only $21,990, full of safety equipment, and the number one selling SUV, the 2025 Rogue, starting at only $29,990.
The Venue, your new favorite Tuscaloosa hangout, food, music, and more. Come and taste what's new at the Venue, whether it's Liza's Sweet Shop, whether it's the all-day breakfast and burgers from Ramajama's, or the quality food that you can get at Finish Pub. Great atmosphere, great time, great people, great environment. That's the Venue. You can find them online at thevenuetuscaloosa.com, located off of Watermelon Road, just past Sokol Park. That's the Venue, Tuscaloosa's new favorite hangout. Make it yours.
Eat Lux your way with the new $5 Classic, $7 Supreme, and $9 Discovery Lux Craving Boxes from Taco Bell at participating stores for a limited time only. While supplies last, price of participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
The I Love the 90s tour is back, featuring Vanilla Ice, Young MC, and CNC Music Factory, featuring Freedom Williams. It's the return of the I Love the 90s tour, Saturday, April 12th at Pearl River Resort Silver Star Convention Center. Tickets on sale now at pearlriverresort.com.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Point.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace,
you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Coming up next on The Stingray Show.
Hey, Crimson Tide basketball fans, can you tell me which former Alabama forward was the SEC Player of the Year in 2002 and finished his career at Alabama with 1,775 points and 1,184 rebounds? I was giving you time to think. Former Alabama forward Erwin Dudley joins me immediately after head coach at 7 p.m. on Monday to discuss his career at the University of Alabama. That's the Stingray Show at 7 p.m. Monday with Erwin Dudley.
Tune into The Stingray Show, Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. on Tide 100.9. Interact with The Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into The Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. Hey, want to invite you to join and support our great sponsors, highlighting our main sponsor, Box Eye Care, 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. Of course, they have your traditional services. You can also get laser vision correction, consultation, comprehensive eye care, dry eye treatment, diagnostic services and treatment, as well as now offering laser skin care. Once again, drop that pin at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. Dr. Box and his team would love to help you. You can find them online at boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com. Call 205-342-0660. 205-342-0660. And if you're the type that has a question but don't want to talk to anyone, office@boxeyecare.com.
All right, as we get back into the show, we have Kennington Smith III joining us. How you doing this morning, Kennington?
Good, how are y'all?
Doing good.
Doing good.
So, kicking things off, Alabama versus Tennessee this weekend. It didn't pretty for Bama, but the funny thing about it is on Friday we talked about Alabama having to get to that 80-point mark to really have a chance to beat Tennessee, not playing their game, and of course Alabama falls short of that 79-76.
Yeah, just a gut-punching loss in a lot of respects. Obviously, you play great up until the last 30 seconds. You lose that way. The fact that loss triggered an outright championship for Auburn. Wasted what could have been a career defining moment for Mark Sears, like to kind of cap off his career as he's coming down the stretch here. What a great moment that would have been, that three that put them up, late against Tennessee. So a lot of missed opportunities in a lot of different ways, but Alabama played really well in that game. I know it's hard to pull a moral victory out of a loss like that, but they really played well. They just situationally were really, really, really bad at the end of the first half and at the end of the game, obviously. And that's just how it goes. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. They're playing a top 3 team in Florida, but just really poor situational execution hurt them, and it made the difference.
It was a little frustrating, as you said. Mark Sears hits that big shot towards the end, and yet come up short in this way. Can't really explain how the way that game is. There was a couple timeouts that Bama had an opportunity to take, didn't take, and kind of folded under pressure. But we got a couple callers that we're going to get to. First is Alan. We're going to talk about the Bama-Tennessee game.
Last morning. Good morning. That game, that was done bad on everybody's part. We had a timeout left, I believe, and you didn't take timeout. You had the wrong person throwing the ball in. And I played basketball and played 2 years community college. And the first thing you do when you throwing the ball in, you stop the ball coming up the court. You have 3 seconds, and nobody even attempted to stop that ball. That was not only on the players, that was on the coaching staff, that was on everybody. It was just bad situation on everybody all the way around. It was just poor. I mean, to me, it was just poor coaching at the end of the game. And I'm not gonna say he got out coached, but I'm just saying we just had mental blocks, and it was just. And I didn't understand. I really didn't understand how your best player is more serious. That's the ball. That's the player ball. The hand it should be in at all times. At that particular time, and he didn't get it at the end. I just don't understand that, and I never will.
Yeah, I agree. And when you talk about stopping at half court, this goes back to what I just said about the end of the first half and second half. You get, Sears getting that shot, probably was about 3 or 4 seconds left at the end of the first half, and Tennessee basically goes uncontested down the court and lays it up at the rim. The only contest at the rim was the foul, which gave them the and one. So something that happened in the first half that you felt like in that moment was probably going to swing the game or have an impact on the game. And then you see the same exact scenario play out at the end of the game. So really frustrating, I'm sure, when they go back and watch it on film. I'll be interested to see how their response is coming at home against Florida.
And one more thing, free throws. You got to make free throws. I mean, that's what it's called, free throws. You got to make those. If Bama makes their free throws, that game's not even close at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at it, thanks, Alan. There's so many things in the game that you can kind of point to. The free throws is first of all, I think that there's coaches who have coaches' numbers. Let's just be real, okay? For whatever reason, Rick Barnes has Alabama's number under Nate Oates. He 1-4, 1-5 or something against Tennessee. Not a lot of success. Okay, so that's just overall in general. But in that game, free throws, you count how many we missed, but we really missed more than that because we missed the front end of some 1-1s. I mean, that's the crazy part. The front end of some 1-1s. It drives me nuts, Kennington. Number 2 is, dude, y'all, Grant Nelson's minutes. I'm sorry. Someone has to help me understand his minutes. He has some key moments, but not for the amount of time. Most of the time, he's just out there, and he won't take the threes. When and when he does, he's leaving them short. It's just, I don't know. That's number 2. But there are so many things that happen down that stretch, Kennington, that it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, a true freshman had the ball in his hands the majority of the last minute of the game.
Yeah.
And I think they had a play set up to get to Mark, and Tennessee denied it. They were going to try to run Mark up and get him the ball, but Tennessee knew that. And you got the best defensive player in the league guarding him, so it's not going to happen. You have to get it to him a different way. You give it to him and then let him take him one-on-one. But that game was lost on Stevenson's poor effort on the free throw as well. I mean, because the reality of it is, if we get the ball, we have the ball with at least a 1-point lead, if not a 2-point lead, and he gets beat on the free throw line. That's effort. Why was Grant Nelson backing up on the 3 seconds? I mean, with 3.8 seconds to go. If you make him make one more dribble, Kennington, there's no way Alabama had that drawn up on the defense was to let a guy drive straight up, looking at the goal to get off a shot.
Right.
So, I don't know. And I want to caution us Alabama fans. Guys, y'all better lay off your coach. Yes, it's disappointing to lose that game. It's disappointing to lose that game. But you don't want to make this guy not want to be in Tuscaloosa. I'm taking Nate Oates. All the other guys we tried to run out of here, they didn't have a whole lot of options to leave.
Nate Oates will be a coach at another contender, and we'll be sitting over here crying. Oh, well, look at what we had.
If you're in SEC school and you start hearing Alabama fans, you're going to do like Kentucky did. You're going to come after Nate Oates. Forget the rest of the country.
Right.
Nate Oates has won more games in the SEC than anybody in the league since he's been in here. Right, Kennington?
Yes, I believe so.
So I don't want that dude going anywhere. I want us to get better. There's things we can do better, but we are comparing Alabama to the standard that he set, by the way.
Right.
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 Pat, you're in with Martin, Xavier, and Kennington. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir, fellas. I don't want to talk about the loss that's gone. I want to talk about what does Alabama absolutely have to do in order to get a number 1 seed.
Went out these last 2. 2 top 3 opportunities. You got Florida, you got at Auburn. A win at Auburn at this point will probably be the most impressive win of the year. So you get those 2 to end the year. I think Alabama will be in firm standing for that 1 spot. So that's the absolute they would have to do for the SEC.
How deep does Alabama have to go into the tournament to get the number 1 seed? Win it.
I don't think they have to win it to get a 1 seed. I think they'd have to play at least into Sunday though.
Yeah,
We have to get to the SEC championship.
I don't know if they can get a 1 seed unless Tennessee loses. I don't think it matters what we do. I think that Tennessee, and that's Lenardi was saying that the winner of that game was going to be the 1 seed, along with Auburn, Duke, and Houston. I don't think we can. You think we can jump Tennessee or Florida?
Oh yeah, they'd have to win out.
Yeah, Alabama has to win out, but I think Tennessee has to lose. I think if Tennessee wins out and we win out, I don't see us. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think we need help, Pat. And I'm talking about regular season. I don't know that they'll punish Tennessee. If Tennessee wins out and Alabama wins out, because you have to understand, man, Alabama has dropped how many games?
6.
No, I'm saying in this stretch to prove how good they were. We're 1-3.
3, yeah.
We're 1-3, guys, and we haven't played the best 2 in that run.
But if Alabama wins out, the remaining schedule for Alabama is going to be much better than any other remaining schedule. So if they're able to figure things out, and if they're able to beat Florida on Wednesday, Auburn on Saturday, those are the 2 most impressive wins in the country.
Right. 2 top 3 wins that ended out. Tennessee's remaining schedule is Ole Miss and South Carolina, so much higher probability that they went out. But I feel like a win at Auburn would mean quite a lot, even if Auburn has already wrapped up the regular season title.
And guys, we're going against Lenardi, and he don't usually miss. I don't know if somebody tell him what to say, but he literally said that game was for the 1 seed, and he knew that we had Florida and Tennessee coming. I mean, and Auburn coming. And like I said, I think if we hadn't dropped the games before, man, it's just I would love for us to get the 1 seed. I would love for us to get a 1 seed, but I don't know. I guess I'm just looking at what this team has done. It's a really, really good team, guys. But let's be real, man. They dropped a lot of games.
But the schedule is just. But their schedule has been. I mean, it's been ridiculous. So I can kind of balance it out. You said what?
Their schedule what?
Has been brutal.
And they hadn't won.
Exactly.
And they hadn't won. I mean, their schedule's been brutal and they've been losing. I mean, your schedule's brutal, but you have to win. They're down the stretch. We talked about this stretch run. They're at best going to end up, what, 500?
Yeah. It is the number 1 schedule in the country, is it not? The hardest.
Auburn has more wins than we do. More top 25. What you call it? Vanderbilt has 5 AP top 25 wins this year. I mean, so I don't know.
You're giving them a dose of reality.
I'm gonna tell you Kennington and X and Y. I'm gonna tell you what I think hurts Alabama more than the last couple games. I think the Ole Miss game will come back to bite us. Because that's
I believe that.
So
I 100% believe that.
Pat, we got to get the break. Good conversation. But hey, everybody has their opinion. I mean, I want us to get a number 1. And I would probably give us a number 1 if we end up beating Florida and Tennessee. I agree with you guys. And the only reason I'm saying that is it's hard to argue against Lenardi, not because I agree with him. It's just because he's hardly ever wrong. That's the only reason I'm saying that he thinks he said only one of these teams will be the number 1 seed. So what would Tennessee do if they're at the number 1 seed right now, what would they do to not be there after the season? Unless they go in and lose in the first round of the tournament and Alabama makes a run in the tournament.
The only thing I can see is if they drop Ole Miss and South Carolina, they lose, and they're one and done in the tournament.
If they lose, I think if they lose either one of these teams and Alabama win out, Alabama will jump them. I just don't think that Tennessee will drop Kennington. I let closing thoughts. If I do think Tennessee has to lose. If Tennessee loses and Alabama wins, I don't think there's a question whether Alabama gets it.
Yeah, no question. I think the formula will be probably Tennessee splitting the last two plus losing in the first round, and Alabama would have to win out, play into the championship on Sunday.
Yeah.
That would probably be the scenario for me. So possible, but probably unlikely how everything stands right now.
The crazy thing is, y'all need to understand, we're disappointed, Alabama fans. Before you start yapping and running your mouths out there, we're disappointed with a number 2 seed because they're going to be a number 5 seed if they win out, or maybe even if they don't. So anyway, we're looking at crazy. Alabama's going to be a top 8 seed no matter what happens, I think. But it's going to look really bad. It's going to look really bad if they drop 5 out of their last 6 or 4 out of their last 6 or something like that. 4 out of 7, whatever it is.
I will say they did something similar to this last year.
I know.
You
You
can't count them out because come tournament time, they'll
turn it on.
They'll turn it around and they'll play some of the best defense we've seen them play all year. Watch.
Well, the last 3 games, that's what they've done. I mean, the defense was great. Tennessee was just hitting. I mean, you go into that game, there was guys that were hitting shots, X and Kennington. For Tennessee, there was guys hitting threes that you go into the game and you say, if this guy has a 3, you let him shoot. Lanier started off great, but they shut him down after he got to 12. They kind of calmed him down. What's his name was on the bench, but they had games. Okay, they had like I don't know number 8's name. This dude had to hit 8 threes all year and hit 3 on us. I mean, so they played great defense. Tennessee was just on, but we had that game won. We did not execute down the stretch, and it was on both sides. You have to call timeout if you're the coach when you have a freshman on the 5 on the out of bounds line. I told my wife, I said, listen to this, Kennington. I called that. I told my wife, I said, they have dogged us on the out of bounds the entire game. They have dogged us the entire game. And then we put Fallon on the out of bounds line. And I said, we're not going to get it in, and Tennessee's going to win the game. And that's exactly what happened. I don't know. It was tough. It was tough to watch. And then we let him drive down and get a wide open, uncontested. It was a deep 3. But in college basketball, these kids can shoot from half court consistently when they're wide open. So anyway, we got to get the break. We went a little over. Pat got us all stirred up over that number 1 seed. Great conversation. We'll be back on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're moving right along with the exception of this disabled vehicle. And this is on 2059 Westbound at 359. It's sitting on the shoulder. I don't see where it's causing a big to-do. Now, 359 on the southbound lane to Skyland Boulevard. That intersection is getting a little busy for you this morning. That's got some volume going. And moving on McFarland to Atler Wallace. That intersection is moving with a purpose. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
Visit the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at Midtown.com. TJ and his team are looking for the opportunity to provide you with great services, including compound, home delivery, and a whole lot more. If you're looking for a great pharmacy that'll take care of all of your needs, including wellness classes, including health and more, that's the Pharmacy at Midtown. Call them at 205-579-9933. If you're looking for a great pharmacy, you need to try the Pharmacy at Midtown. That's the Pharmacy at Midtown, pharmacyatmidtown.com. Houston Hydrosteam. That's Houston Hydrosteam. Quality work you can stand on. Whether you're looking for carpet and upholstery cleaning, oriental rug cleaning, residential or commercial water damage, and a whole lot more, you need to call Houston Hydrosteam at 205-553-9460, 553-9460, or visit them online at houstonhydrosteam.com. And once again, Houston Hydrosteam is quality work you can stand on.
Outlets sparking, lights are glowing. Don't do it yourself, or you'll be glowing. Call Taylor Electric. We do it all. Taylor Electric. Give the boss man a call.
Call or text 205-553-0958.
Fair pricing is what we do. Taylor Electric, we are here for you.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
Nothing in Tuscaloosa's history compares to the city's transformation under Mayor Walt Maddox. If you want proof of what Mayor Maddox can do, just look around. In every project, Walt Maddox focused on you, and you and your family deserve nothing less. But he isn't finished. We've achieved so much, but there's more to be done. On March 4th, elect Mayor Walt Maddox.
Paid for by the Committee to Re-elect Walt Maddox, P.O. Box 2233, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35403.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Jason, we're going to put the finishing touches on that basketball conversation. Xavier Peterson says, think about this. Bama has the number 3 and number 1 team remaining, plus the SEC tournament. If Bama wins out and best Tennessee in the SEC tournament, there's still a chance for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, everything that Alabama is hoping to accomplish, whether that's the 1 seed, tournament championship, the Final Four, all those things are still in play. But it's like Martin said in the last segment, when you get to this high of a level, this is how we talk about teams in the top 5. It's, playing great, but you don't execute at the end, you lose a tough game, and people are going to be critical. But that's the standard that's been set. So, we have to understand that within the context of the conversation, this is still a team that we all believe has the potential to go to the Final Four. So, all those things are on the table. It's just a matter of Alabama actually putting it on the court for 40 minutes, which Natos has been saying all year they haven't been able to do consistently. It's play like that full 40-minute game.
Yeah, real quick. What are your thoughts on Grant? Do they have to make him come off the bench to try to get him more aggressive or something?
Maybe him coming off the bench and maybe like him and Holloway and like some 2-man stuff being like the focal points might work. But in some ways, this is just kind of who Grant Nelson is. I mean, for the last 5 games, single-digit points, just like he's the kind of player where it's like you look at his overall stats and you see maybe like 14 points a game and you think he's kind of in that range, but he's really like, 20 points in one game, 4 in another, averages out to 12, or 20 and 8, it averages out to 14. It's kind of like that type of game with him. So you kind of have to hope that he can kind of catch fire like he did in the tournament last year, but this kind of streaky play is kind of who Grant Nelson has been at Alabama.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since he's had that type of game. I think that's the big problem when you stop and look at it. 7 points against Tennessee. When we played Kentucky, he had, 5 points? That's been his streak lately. There hasn't been that 20-plus point explosion. It's
He
been
hasn't had a 20-point game since at Kentucky on January 18th.
Yeah, all right.
right.
Hey, guys.
Right, and then 6 against Mississippi State. So in his last 3 games, he's got less than 25 points as total. But we'll have to figure that out. But we're going to get to break.
Go
ahead.
Let me just close this segment out, X. Here's the reality. Guys, Alabama spring practice starts today. Let me tell you how good Nate Oates is. For all of the Alabama fans listening and complaining and all that, Wyatt X, I have been doing this for, a decade and a half. Alabama spring practice starts today. And we have talked about Alabama basketball. And there's been no lack of interaction on phone calls and on chat. That's all I'm going to say, Alabama fans. You need to understand that we have on our basketball program first world problems. This is what we used to say about when we would complain about Nick Saban. This is a first world problem. There's a bunch of teams out there that would trade for our team, our experience, etc. And y'all better believe there's a lot of teams not only that will trade for our coach, they're gonna try to make a trade for our coach. So we better be careful how we treat him. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's get the break. All right. Wyatt, can we get out of here?
Coming up next on the Stingray Show.
Hey, Crimson Tide basketball fans, can you tell me which former Alabama forward was the SEC Player of the Year in 2002 and finished his career at Alabama with 1,775 points and 1,184 rebounds? I was giving you time to think. Former Alabama forward Erwin Dudley joins me immediately after Hey Coach at 7 p.m. on Monday to discuss his career at the University of Alabama. That's the Stingray Show at 7 p.m. Monday with Erwin Dudley.
Tune into the Stingray Show Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. on Tide 100.9.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. There are 12 wildfires burning across West Alabama at this hour. 10 of them are contained, but 2 are active. The larger fires are in Pickens County. One is a 115-acre blaze in southeast Pickens County, a 120-acre blaze just to the north of it. There are more than 125 fires statewide this morning. Alabama Forestry Commission continuing to urge Alabamians to not burn outdoors due to gusty winds and dry conditions. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more West Alabama news, sports, and weather. I'm Don Hartley.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're moving right along with the exception of this disabled vehicle. And this is on 2059 Westfield at 359. It's sitting on the shoulder. I don't see where it's causing a big to-do. Now, 359 on the southbound lane to Skyland Boulevard. That intersection is getting a little busy for you this morning. That's got some volume going. And moving on McFarland to Atler Wallace. That intersection is moving with a purpose. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell.
Townsend Nissan has new 2025 Sentras for only $21,990, full of safety equipment, and the #1 selling SUV, the 2025 Rogue, starting at only $29,990.
Eat Lux your way with the new $5 Classic, $7 Supreme, and $9 Discovery Lux Craving Boxes from Taco Bell at participating stores for a limited time only. While supplies last, price and participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
The all-new Chow's Country Buffet is open now on 1100 Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa. Southern classics with an Asian twist. All-you-can-eat fried chicken, fried catfish, seafood boil, roast beef, brisket, orange chicken, and over 150 additional items. Chow's Country Buffet will be open for lunch and dinner at 1100 Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa. Or check out the website, chowscountrybuffet.com. Call 205-810-8888. The all-new Chow's Country Buffet, Skyland Boulevard. Join us for a meal to remember.
At the Home Depot, it's our business to support yours. Partner with your go-to source for building your business. We can help you streamline your operations by supplying the whole job from start to finish. Any questions? Our Pro Desk is ready to answer the call with supply sourcing, custom orders, large equipment rentals, and more. Elevate your efficiency and take on more projects with the partner you can trust. The Home Depot, how pros get more done.
This week's half price Seize the Deal offer is for Jake's Soul Food Cafe at 3615 McFarland Boulevard, your new go-to spot for hearty Southern comfort food. Craving smoky jerk chicken, crispy fried catfish, creamy mac and cheese, or their famous cabbage? They got you covered. For $12.50, you can get $25 in food at Jake's Soul Food Cafe. This Seize the Deal will be available starting Friday morning at 8. For more details about this incredible offer, log on to seizethedeal.com/cities/Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Hey, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. We're getting ready to wrap up this final quarter here and going to talk a little football. But I want to remind everybody, y'all need to go ahead and get your Alabama Legacy basketball gear, because I don't want you jumping on the bandwagon when Alabama makes another run in March Madness. I'm talking about, I knew it all the time. They just needed to lose down the stretch. All right, now go ahead and get that. You can get it by scanning the QR code if you're on the live stream, or visiting athletesshred.com/collections/Martin-Houston. You can get the Alabama Legacy jersey, has the varsity A with Legacy in the banner, or you can get crimson and or black Bama shorts, basketball shorts. So go check it out. Thanks.
All right, Jason. Bama kicks off spring practice today. Year 2 of the Kalen DeBoer era is under its way. A lot of big changes. What's the big thing you expect to see starting today, or expect to see from Coach Grubb being here, new quarterback, things of that nature?
Yeah, just think offensively, what is going to be Alabama's identity? Last year was so much wrapped into Jalen Milroe both throwing the ball, running the ball. What is the running game going to look like? How are they going to be different in the pass game? New wide receiver room for the most part. So just how the offense is going to come together, and what type of game is Alabama going to play this year? And is Alabama going to be able to get after the quarterback? I think pass rush is huge question mark going into the year. What's going to happen at Wolf? Kelby Collins, O.T. Overton, what are they going to be able to do in terms of improving on their pass rushing? So those are going to be the two things that I'll be looking for and hoping to flesh out this spring.
Yeah, and when you look at New Jersey numbers came out yesterday, and we saw Jalen Mbakwe is wearing number 3. Well, we have a number 3 on defense already, so I'm guessing he's going to be a full-time wide receiver. And where do you see him fitting into this room?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has an opportunity to be well in the receiver rotation. I feel like you feel really good about Alabama's top 3 of Horton, Bernard, and Ryan Williams. And after that, it's open for snaps. There's going to be some guys coming back from injuries and some freshmen in the mix. But I think Mbakwe has a chance to really be a part of the offense. And, he kind of has to go full into offense. New offensive coordinator, Mbakwe only got a couple of bowl practices under his belt. So he really has to go 100% on offense to see where it all shakes out. And then we'll see what happens at the end of spring. So I would probably, in my mind, describe him as a full-time offensive player right now, and then we'll just kind of see what happens after spring of where he could fall.
Do you think Kennington Mbakwe actually helps to maybe build the identity of this offense? I mean, are we going to limit him to wide receiver, or do you see them using him? You know, he plays some quarterback. Could he be our wildcat changeup?
Possibly. I mean, I don't think there's anything off of the table. You go back and look at what Washington did with, like a Dunze, and they had him in the backfield and doing different things. Yeah. At Washington. Not saying that, Mbakwe and Dunze different size profiles and all of that, but just saying that they've shown that they can use playmakers in different ways. Right. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize him and what maybe he might be able to do to free up guys like Ryan and Jeremy, because they didn't have that last year. Those were the only two receivers that were over 150 yards all season. So the defense was able to key in on those two guys. More weapons, more utilization of different guys, opening up opportunities for Alabama's top-end receivers is going to be a good thing as well.
Follow up to that, do you see them using – because to me, we got to the point where we kind of got stagnant at times. One of the things they did at Washington, I think they used motion, Kennington, and kind of even helped the quarterback.
Right.
But the problem with helping the court is read the defense, make guys move and things like that. And it can help a quarterback, but if a quarterback isn't comfortable with it, it can hurt them. You see that being added into this offense?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, especially when you think about you talk about motion screens, getting the ball out of the quarterback hands quickly.
Yeah.
Getting it out of his hands and into playmaker space. I think Alabama has there's a lot of opportunity there in terms of just Yak, Ryan, obviously with the ball in his hands. Jeremy, underrated with the ball in his hands. Jalen, obviously we know what he can do as well. So I think all of those things will help. And then having somebody like Horton, a legitimate big body receiver who could probably go down the field a little bit, I think is going to open up some things as well. Probably going to have some more athleticism at tight end also with Cuevas. So I think there's an opportunity for things to just be a little bit more open offensively. But even within that, kind of how's Alabama going to utilize the run game to maybe set some things up in the pass game also? Because that was one of the things we talked about extensively last year, was just, how dependent everything was, especially the run game on Jalen Milroe's legs. So how are they going to kind of revamp that running game this spring?
Real quick, on the offensive side of the ball, who's the freshman you think can get into the rotation and make a difference this year?
I would probably say Michael Carroll, just because he has the opportunity to do it at a couple of different positions coming in, opportunity on offensive line. So I would say watch out for him.
All right. Jason, let everybody know where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, on X at Skinny Kenny _ theathletic.com or The Athletic, however you get your mobile app, searching Kennington Smith III or anything related to Alabama athletics.
All right, that's Kennington Smith III joining us as he does every Monday, breaking down some Alabama basketball and the kickoff of spring practice for the football team. Hey, I'm Xavier Houston. That's Martin Houston. We got Wyatt Fulton pressing all the right buttons today. Y'all have a blessed
Remember
Monday.
this, trust in the Lord always, lean not in your own understanding, always acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide, everybody.
Your party